Hi guys, it's Jade. I'm just going to do a video for you for the care of piercings, whether it be an ear piercing, a lip piercing, tongue, nose, eyebrow, different things like that. I'm gonna try my best to help you out. I will show you my way of cleaning my snake bites and what I have done for my ears. But everything else is kind of the same, honestly. So I'm going to show you the products that I use. And I forgot one, but I'll just tell you what it is because I don't feel like going and hunting it down. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I use is an oral health rinse, mouth rinse. It's alcohol free. Anything you buy, you want it to be alcohol free when you are using it for a piercing. So make sure you use alcohol free. You can use this kind, you can use the Pro Health. I usually just buy the cheap stuff because it works just the same, and honestly, there's really no reason to buy something so expensive when you're just, yeah, so. I actually have two different kinds. I have, this one is also alcohol free, I do believe. Yeah. This is also the Family Dollar Complete Protection Anti-Cavity Mouthwash. You can use this one, or you can use this one, but this is the new one that I bought, and I've actually tried it out a few times, and I actually like it better than the Complete Health. So, you're going to need sea salt. Yes, I prefer sea salt over regular salt because it does a little bit better of a job. So, sea salt. And a lot of people really don't like this one, but I'm going to explain this a little bit more into detail. But isopropyl rubbing alcohol 70% by volume is what I use, which is almost gone, but I have another bottle. Yeah, I will explain this more before you go and yelling at me for what I'm doing. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and I have had no problems, so please hold your confidence. Just a liquid hand soap is fine, but mine is the Lucky Super Soft pH balanced liquid hand soap. It's called Golden Harvest, and it has vitamin E in it. It's just a dollar store brand. Honestly, I don't find a reason to buy something so expensive. If you want to buy something that's more expensive that you like, be my guest. I mean, it's your pick. You don't have to buy what I have just because I have it. Just use what you have around the house, what you want to buy, you know, just whatever. But just a liquid hand soap or bar soap, whichever you prefer. And the few other things you're gonna need is a cup for the sea salt, and I use this for my alcohol. I'm not swishing it. It's just you're gonna need this. You can use the lid of the alcohol. You can use anything really, just as long as you can fill it up. So, okay. Here's a few choices you can use when doing this. You can use a regular Q-tip, which you're going to need two. So 2 Q-tips, or you can use the baby Q-tips, the little protecting Q-tips. You can use those. Those work really well. I've found them to work pretty well. Or you can use these little makeup swabs. You can buy them in a big pack for like $1. But you can use these. I found these to work really well because they're so thin. You can fold them and they hold anything really well actually. So yeah, you can use those. But at this point in time, my choice is actually the regular Q-tips because mine's healed a lot. So, sorry, my computer blacked out there for a second. But, I mean, these work really well. And honestly, it's just your preference. You can try them all, but it's your choice. Okay, so let me just tell you a few things about piercings. When you get them done, you don't want to smoke for at least 2 hours afterwards if you're a smoker, because the smoke getting into it can irritate it and cause it to have more discharge, and just the movement of your lips can be rather uncomfortable. And the whole sucking thing, it can cause dry rot. So you really want to be careful with smoking afterwards. Which, if you're me, as soon as you get it done, you're so freaking stressed out, you need a cigarette anyway, so you're going to smoke. But honestly, just try to smoke half of a cigarette to be, like, you know, logical. Smoke half a cigarette, put it out, and wait a while, and then try to smoke the rest of it. So, you're not going to want to play with it. Don't play with them for at least 2 to 3 months, because it can cause scar tissue, and it can cause an infection, and it can just be rather uncomfortable, and it can prolong the healing process. So try not to play with it as much as possible, if at all. Don't change your lip rings. I'm telling you what, you take that out like a week after you get it done, it is going to close so fast that you're not going to be able to put the other ring in. Not only that, but it can be quite painful, and it can cause your lip to swell back up, and you're going to have to start over again. So you want to wait about a month, maybe 3 weeks. Depends on how well you take care of it. I actually waited 2 months until I changed mine. So honestly, it's all your judgment call, depending on how well you feel you are healing. I'm trying to think of something else. Oral hygiene with snake bites is very, very, very important. And with tongue rings, you are going to want to brush your teeth as soon as you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed, after every time you eat. Honestly, you're going to want to brush your teeth, because you don't want to have a dirty mouth, especially with a healing piercing. It sucks if it gets infected. It really sucks. So, always make sure you brush your teeth. And a little tip that I found rather useful is when you have snake bites or a tongue ring, I buy a little bottle, the travel size bottle of mouthwash, and I stick that in my purse or my backpack or my pants, just wherever, just so I have it with me wherever I go. I take one of those with me, and you don't have to keep buying them after they empty. Just take the mouthwash you have at home and refill it. And they tell you to dilute the mouthwash with water. I find that it doesn't work for me. For some of you it might, but for me it doesn't, so I don't dilute mine. But when you first get it done, I would suggest diluting it for at least maybe the first week. Maybe dilute it the first day and just kind of take the amount of water you're putting in down each time you use it, or well, each day, because each time you use it you're going to be down to no dilution after the first day. So you're going to want to do that along the week. Just kind of take the amount of water you're putting in down until you can just keep it not diluted, because I find it works better if you don't dilute it. Yeah, and you're going to want to do a cleaning after every time you eat, as well as brushing your teeth, because you want to keep them as clean as possible so the piercing can heal, and it heals a lot faster. Right now, I've had mine in since April, and it is now July, and I honestly haven't been cleaning them as well as I should. And I have gotten these little bubbles, to say, around them. They're kind of like little white bubbles that go around my lip. And I've had them on the inside too, and it's really uncomfortable and painful, and it's not something I would want anybody to have. So this is why I'm going through this, because I have had mine done twice, and I'm just trying to tell you from my experience. This is nothing that I've been told from anybody or anything. This is from my personal experience. And honestly, they're doing fine. So, you want to hate on me for this video, that's perfectly fine. I don't care what you have to say, because my inner feelings is fine. But I'm just trying to help those who don't know out. So, yeah. So just make sure you're constantly cleaning. And especially before you go to bed, because if you eat before you go to sleep, you don't want that food to get in that while you're sleeping, because it sits there all night. And you don't want extra leakage from your piercing than you have. So, yeah, make sure you brush your teeth and make sure you clean. So, the first thing I do is I take the cup and the sea salt grinder. This is the first thing I do after I brush my teeth. So, I grind the sea salt. I usually put just a little bit. I'll just show you. What the heck? I don't really care. I just did cleaning, but I'm just going to show you. Okay, so. I don't know how well you'd be able to see this, and it didn't grind out very well for some reason this time, but that's the amount that I put in mine. It's just barely enough to cover that outer ring. You just want barely enough to cover the bottom, and if it doesn't completely cover the bottom, that's okay. Here, this is how it looks. I don't know if you can see that well enough, because I'm doing this on my laptop, but that's about how much I put in there. So, you do that, and you want to get the water hot. Not as hot as you can stand, but until you know you can feel it's hot. Okay, and then you're going to fill it up. I don't know if you can see the shadow. Okay, a little bit. It's about right here. So about half the cup. Maybe a little less than half the cup, because you're only going to use this about twice. So, just fill that up to about here. And this is an 8-ounce cup. So, and then I just twirl it around to get the rest of the sea salt absorbed in there. And then you're going to swish twice. And when I swish, I try to keep it as close to the lip as I possibly can. And I have washed my hands, so me touching is okay. But when you first get this done, don't touch. As little as possible, do not touch, because your hands hold bacteria and you're going to get an infection. So, don't. I just kind of do this little in and out thingy with it. It's not playing with it, it's not twirling it, it's not pulling it. It's just it's the same motion with the lip ring as when you talk. It does this. So that's what I do. I don't twirl it, I don't twist it, you know, it's just, I know it sounds so weird, but that's it. That's all I do. And you don't do it really hard or anything, it's just a little pull. So, or if you have the hoop, not everybody has the stud, I know that, so if you have the hoop, I just kind of twist it back and forth a little bit, just to where the natural lay of the ring is, not all the way around, just a little pull. So, that's what I do with that, and I just swish it around until, I do it twice. I don't use the whole cup, because I don't find that I need to. So, I just take it and I swish it around once, until you can kind of feel the water dripping down your chin a little bit from pulling it through the hole. That's when I feel that I'm done with it the first time, and then I spit it out. And then the second time, I don't do the whole thing. I just swish it back and forth in my mouth, and then I spit it out, and that's it. So that's for the sea salt. And then I do, oh, this computer, I don't know why it keeps blacking out on me. I do the mouthwash. The mouthwash, I will show you, so that we can get a general idea. So, yeah, you don't want a lot, you just want a little bit. So, okay, this you should be able to see. Do you see the line where it's at? There's only that much in there. There's not a lot. It's just barely to cover the line where it twists in the lid. That's all. So, and when you swish, I'll show you. I'm not going to be able to explain it because my mouth's going to be full. So, just deal with me. Okay, so that's what you're going to do with that. Or that's at least what I do. I find it works rather well. Alright. But yeah, you do that a little bit longer. I was just showing you because I've already done this like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, you do that until the lid is completely empty. I do that with the mouthwash until it's completely empty. But I don't fill the whole thing up. As you've seen, it was just a little bit. And then after I do the sea salt and the mouthwash, I do the alcohol. Okay, let me explain this alcohol. I do not squish it. I do not put it inside of my piercing. This is for general cleaning reasons, and that is all. And I do not do it every single time I clean. I do not do it. I do it once a day, maybe once every other day, maybe once a week. Honestly, I don't use it every day. You just need a little bit of it. And I'm going to show you. I've been doing this. I've had mine done twice since 2010. I have not had a problem with alcohol. I know they tell you not to use alcohol because it can dry your piercing out too much and it is not a cut. So it's not something you want to use on a piercing. But if you've just gotten a piercing done, don't use alcohol. This is something you're not going to want to do until 2 to 3 months into having a piercing. Okay? So this is not something you do right away. This is something after a while down the road, after your piercing has healed and enough to where you can take it out for at least 2 minutes. Okay? So I just put just enough on the Q-tip. And no, I haven't done it because you have to just hold it over. I'm just showing you. Okay? And I clean it like this. Around on the outside. Okay? That's it. That's all I do with that. It's just to clean any gunk that's built up around my piercing. Just to clean it off because it takes it off a lot quicker than going like this with soap or anything. And you don't want to leave that on there because it can cause an infection. I mean, yes, it's a natural discharge because it's a piercing and it's not something natural in your face. So it's going to discharge. And the discharge should be clear to yellow. Not exactly like a yellow, but maybe like... It's just a little bit darker than a clear, honestly. You don't want a green or yellow pussy looking thing that your lip is bright red and it hurts, and that's an infection. Okay? A natural discharge is clear to to white, and that is fine. That is perfectly normal, and you will have it until it is completely healed. So that's all I do with that, just to get that gunk off. Because I don't like it, and I'm sure anybody else that has this isn't going to like it either, because it doesn't look pretty. So that's all I do, is just around it to clean that off. It does not go inside my piercing. And honestly, that's fine, because it's not going into the piercing like it's a cut. Okay, and then I take my second Q-tip, and I get it wet, and then I put just a little bit of the soap on there, and I take my piercing out. Okay, this is what the cup is for. I put this much alcohol in this, just enough to cover up the ring. I take my rings out, I put it in there, and I soak it while I clean with soap. Okay, so I clean the outside of it across and everything, and I go down to about where my lip creases are here. I go all the way down and across, just to keep that area clean. And then I don't go on the inside. Inside is a no-no. You don't want soap in your mouth. So on the outside, I just clean that off, and I kind of get inside the piercing with it, the soap, not the alcohol, the soap. Okay, and then I leave that on there for maybe a minute, just enough to clean the area. And then I get the edge of a washcloth, a clean washcloth, get the edge of it wet, and I wipe it off. And I make sure I get it good enough to where I get the soap out of the hole. Okay, and then dry it off with an end that is dry and clean. Dry it off. And then after that's done, I take the rings out of the alcohol, I dry them off with the washcloth, and then I put it back in. And then it looks about like this. It just looks clean. And it doesn't burn, it doesn't do anything to it. It just makes it look cleaner. So, and it gets the gunk off that you might have missed. So, that is my cleaning routine with my piercing. With an ear piercing, you can get the aftercare cleaning solution from tattoo artists. You can get it from certain stores like Claire's or Deb's or places like that that sell jewelry or do piercings. And that's usually around $3. It's not very expensive. And I usually use that to clean an ear piercing, and I don't take my ear piercing out until a few months after to make sure that it's healed enough to where I can leave it out for a while and not have to worry about it closing up and getting it redone. But yeah. And the tongue ring, I've never had my tongue pierced, so I don't really know what to tell you about that besides to just swish mouthwash and make sure that's diluted for a while until you can handle it not being diluted. To clean it, don't use alcohol on it. And use the sea salt soap. Use that one also. Swish that around in your mouth. And the one thing I use that I didn't tell you about is something else that I carry with me because it's easy access and it's not something you have to worry about putting it in a container and whatever. It's called H2 Ocean. It is pretty much exactly a sea salt, but it is in an aerosol can and it's cold. It's not warm. It's cold. And you just spray that on there, and I spray it on the inside. You can spray it on a tongue ring or a piercing, but make sure you get it out of your mouth. And then I dry it off with a napkin and paper towel. Not my shirt, not something like this, nothing reusable, something to throw away. I wipe it off, and I'm gonna go. Because if I'm in a public place, I'm not gonna want to sit there and mix the sea salt rinse and all that stuff. So I just use that because it's a lot simpler and it's easy access. And the H2 Ocean is about $15. You can get it at Hot Topic, you can get it at Amazon.com, eBay. If you look it up online, there's a million different places you can buy it. Some places you can find it cheaper, but at Hot Topic, where I bought mine, it's $15. So, yeah. And it's about a can that's this big. About this wide. But yeah, I just use that and a little travel thing of mouthwash. And I think that's about all for piercing care. I showed you what I use. You use your judgment, and you can ask your piercing artist what they suggest that you do. Honestly, I would talk to the person that does your piercing before you get it done and after about what you should do, and just ask any questions that you have, because they would be the best person to answer and would have the best answer because they've been trained. So make sure you ask questions. Don't go in there and expect, because they expect you to know. Honestly, if you don't ask, they expect you to know. So ask questions. If you have a question, ask. It's not going to be stupid. They are there for that reason, to answer your questions. So, if you're paying for something, obviously, any question you have for something you're paying for, you can get an answer for it. So, make sure you ask questions when you go and get a piercing. And make sure you follow any aftercare instructions that they give you. Mine is what my body can handle. Doesn't mean it's right for anybody else. I'm just telling you what I do, so that way maybe you can figure out something that works for you. So don't make this like I'm putting it on you, like this is the right thing to do, because it may not be for you. Okay? I just wanted to share that with you guys. And yes, I hope this was helpful and maybe a little bit informative. I was asked to do this for a friend, so please no hate. So, thanks guys, bye.